Hello, Father's Faithful. Thank you for joining me for Sunday School today. Have you ever been on the edge of a decision, completely sure of who God is, but still battling doubt and fear? Maybe you've said, Lord, I trust you, but I'm still afraid. Or maybe I know that you're able, but I just don't know if you will. Or, Lord, I've seen you work, but I haven't seen it in my situation yet. That tension between faith and fear and belief and doubt and certainty and hesitation is something that all of us have faced at one time or another. When I read a passage in the book of Mark a few weeks ago that included this, it was powerful to me because of everything that our family is going through. It was verse 24 in chapter 9. And it said this, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. And I realized that that's not really a contradiction. It's more of a confession. And it actually may be the truest form of faith that we can express. The passage comes from Mark chapter 9, verses 14 through 25. When they came to the other disciples, they saw a large crowd around them and the teachers of the law arguing with them. As soon as all the people saw Jesus, they were overwhelmed with wonder and ran to greet him. What are you arguing about? He asked. A man in the crowd answered, Teacher, I brought you my son who is possessed by a spirit that has robbed him of speech. He foams at the mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. I asked your disciples to drive out the spirit, but they could not. You unbelieving generation, Jesus replied, how long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy to me. And so they brought him. And when the spirit saw Jesus, it immediately threw the boy into a convulsion. He fell to the ground and rolled around, foaming at the mouth. Jesus asked the boy's father, How long has he been like this? From childhood, he answered. It has often thrown him into fire or water to kill him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us. If you can, said Jesus. Everything is possible for one who believes. Immediately the boy's father exclaimed, I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief. And when Jesus saw that a crowd was running to the scene, he rebuked the impure spirit. You deaf and mute spirit, he said, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again. So Jesus had just come down from the Mount of Transfiguration, and he finds himself and his disciples surrounded by a crowd, caught in this dispute with scribes. A man had brought his demon-possessed son for them to heal, but they couldn't cast out that spirit. So the father of the boy had hoped for a miracle, but he actually found human failure instead. And he says to Jesus, I asked your disciples to drive out the spirit, but they could not. Isn't that just like us? We believe God can, but when we hit a time of delay or disappointment, or when doubts start to rise, when people fail us, when prayers seem to be unanswered, when our hope grows tired, we begin to wonder if God's still listening. And this is not the death of faith. It's the testing of faith. Jesus asked how long the boy had suffered, and the father replied, since childhood. It has often thrown him into fire or water to kill him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us, if you can. Now let me tell you, these are the words of a weary heart. This daddy wants to believe, but the pain of dealing with this day in and day out has worn him down. And Jesus replies, if you can't, everything is possible for one who believes. The moment pushes this man into a crisis of honesty. He doesn't fake strength. He doesn't try to impress Jesus. He prays a prayer that's full of tension and full of truth. Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. There's a song called Broken Hallelujah. Broken Hallelujah refers to times when our praise is imperfect, but it's powerful. It goes like this. I can barely stand right now. Everything is crashing down and I wonder where you are. I try to find the words to pray. I don't always know what to say, but you're the one that can hear my heart. And even though I don't know what your plan is, I know you make beauty from these ashes. I've seen joy, I've seen pain, and on my knees I call your name. Here's my broken hallelujah. With nothing left to hold on to, I raise these empty hands to you. Here's my broken hallelujah. A broken hallelujah is honest worship. It's the hallelujah you whisper through your tears. It's the praise you offer when you don't understand. It's when you come to church and you lift your hands, even though your heart is heavy. The man in this story brought Jesus a broken hallelujah. He said, I believe, but I'm still struggling. That's not weak faith. That's real faith. And God welcomes that imperfect praise. Psalm 51:17 says, the sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. Oh God, you will not despise. God isn't looking for these polished performances. He's looking for honest surrender. He wants you just as you are, even if your hallelujah is cracked and quiet. Your hallelujah is still reaching heaven. It may be a whisper. It may be a sigh. David has noticed big sighs from me lately. It may be a tear. There have been lots of tears that have flowed. But it still rises like incense before God. Revelation 5:8 says our prayers are like bowls of incense before the throne. Even our broken hallelujahs are sacred in heaven. Jesus didn't turn away from this man with mixed emotions. He didn't say, now you go on and you come back when your faith is stronger. He said, that's enough. What you have is enough. I can work with that. God meets us exactly where we are, and He lifts us right from that place. Verses 25 through 27 show that Jesus is rebuking the spirit, and the boy convulses and falls to the ground and seems lifeless. But Jesus takes him by the hand and lifts him up. Sometimes miracles don't come with fireworks. Sometimes a miracle comes with a hand reaching down. Jesus didn't wait for perfect faith. He honored honest faith. Even if your faith is frayed and your heart is tired and your prayers feel really weak, He still delivers. He still moves. He still heals. Later, the disciples asked Jesus privately in verse 29, why couldn't we drive it out? And Jesus replies, this kind can only come out by prayer. In other words, some things only shift when you shift into full dependence on God. When your faith and your strength run dry, prayer keeps you connected to that source of power. And we talked about that last week. So faith isn't the absence of doubt. Faith is a decision to bring your doubt to Jesus. If you've been saying, Lord, I'm tired, or Lord, I don't understand, or Lord, I'm trying to believe, then your prayer today can simply be, I believe. Help my unbelief. And that is a prayer that God always hears. So Jesus says, bring your broken hallelujahs to Him. If all you can do is whisper, help me, He hears you. If all you can do is say, I believe, but I'm struggling, He will meet you right where you are. Think about that this week. I'm going to think about this week. When you say your prayers today, please pray for our youngest son, Ben. We desperately need your prayers for our family and for him. We have lifted lots of broken hallelujahs, and I know the Lord hears every single one. And I'll pray for your families too. Hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week.